this is a great idea.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. This is a very different kind of video, and it's a video that's kind of been building up over the last few years, probably since I've been doing this channel, because people have a different attitude to reading across the board. There's a whole spectrum of people that like to read for fun, right through to people who might relate to something. I always remember Mark from Book Time with Elvis saying when he said, surely reading's supposed to be difficult. So clearly there's a whole different attitude to reading than the ones that just read for fun. So I'm somewhere in the middle, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but the middle, because I wouldn't want to just read what some people would kind of regard as superficial, shallow pieces of work, and I don't really want to go down too far beyond down the road of just looking for difficult pieces of pieces of literature to read because I feel like I should read it, or because it's going to be better for me, or whatever, that kind of thing. And there's a channel that I watch occasionally. I really think he's brilliant, and he's a very, very successful. I think he does it as a job now. He's got something like 174,000 subs or something. He's called Better Than Food. Better Than Food. Better Than Food. Better Than Food. And I've mentioned him a few times on the channel because I do think he's absolutely brilliant at what he does. And he clearly is down that end of the spectrum, because he definitely respects and gravitates towards the more difficult types of literature, and would probably consider anything that wasn't challenging as a palate cleanser rather than just something to enjoy and take your time. You know, you'd probably think, well, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. It's literally just a palate cleanser. Whereas for me, some of my favorite books are palate cleansers. So, you know, I absolutely love some stuff down here, and I'm turned off by what I hear about some of the stuff up here. So I just thought it'd be interesting to address it in a video. Hopefully not sound too much like an idiot, and it could be that some of you can relate to the idea of being somewhere in the middle. So someone who wants to be challenged but also wants to enjoy their reading and have fun and not be too bogged down by multiple narrative voices, or some clever way it's been written, some obtuse way that's deliberately there to get you confused. I mean, the most recent thing I can think of where I witnessed this kind of thing and I really wasn't enjoying it was when I buddy read The Female Man from Joanna Russ with Dave from Book Blather, my live stream partner. We both felt like it was so convoluted the way it was written that it wasn't enjoyable. And it was a bit of a shame, because I was really looking forward to it, because I loved the fact that there was this really important, significant milestone in feminist science fiction. And I thought I really wanted to read a feminist science fiction book, and let's read the classic, the one that put a real stamp on that kind of science fiction. So I was really excited to read it, and then really wasn't enjoying it at all. And I think it's because Joanna Russ was trying too hard to make something different with the form of writing it, trying to mess around with the structure of it, because the actual language itself was fine, the ideas were definitely fine. I can see what she was doing, but oh my god, the way she structured it was so annoying. So I can see that now and again you'll come across these books. And anyway, I thought, bouncing off this video I saw from Better Than Food today, which I'll link in the description below, he did a video about 6 things that will destroy your reading. And it's like his version of ways to read more, which we've all done. I did one myself, and ways to read more. And it's always, one of the big things is taking time out to read, which is kind of a given, but it's something that people resist to do. And I would definitely say I'm a strong advocate in not taking all of your time reading. Like, I think you should spread about and do lots of different things, because life is a rich tapestry with lots of different things in it. So I do think that's really a big point. But a lot of us have to stop something that they're doing that they might feel like, actually, I don't need to do that. And there could be those times when you switch off and you're like, I just want to flake out for a bit. And you can actually flake out with a book. So I think that's part of it as well, like just some wasted time you have. And, and we're all busy lives and we want to switch off sometimes. So I just think those kind of times are good times to pick up a book. So, which is kind of the reverse of what he's saying about reading, because he's saying, work at it, read it over and over again until you understand it. So yeah, anyway, this video, again, was because, of Clifford's particular attitude to reading and the books he loves and the things he likes to talk about, the things he likes to break down and analyse, which he does brilliantly. Because of that kind of thing, a lot of it was about how you tackle reading difficult books. And I thought, well, actually, let's have a look at this. So I did he did mention the make a to be read before you die list. He thinks it's a positive thing. And I thought, well, this whole thing about what you should read before you die, I thought I'll look up to see if there's a list that I can bounce off. And I found a website that said 22 books to read before you die. I thought that's a reasonable number to use in a video like this. I thought I'd go through them and see if these suggestions are things that would attract me, or I think, nah, no thanks. It's quite interesting. I've read some of them already. So the first one here is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I've read that one. Sorry, I've read about it and heard about it. I haven't read it. I heard about it and read about it a fair bit. And under the influence of a charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at a New England college discover a way of thought and life a world away from their banal contemporaries. But their search for the transcendent leads them down a dangerous path beyond human constructs of morality. Sounds interesting. I think actually I could well read that. So I've heard a lot about that, but I haven't read it yet. And yes, possibly would read that. Love in the Time of Cholera is the next one by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. In their youth, Florentino Ariza and Firmina Daza fell passionately in love. When Firmina eventually chooses to marry a wealthy doctor, Florentino is devastated, but he is a romantic. As he rises in his business career, he whiles away the years in 622 affairs, yet he reserves his heart to Firmina. Her husband dies at last, and Florentino purposefully attends the funeral. 50 years, 9 months, and 4 days after he first declared his love, he will do so again. Yeah, I might read that, actually. It sounds cool. I think the difference with that, I'm not massively into romance novels necessarily, but obviously there's a lot of philosophy and value of life stuff in that. So, yeah, I might read that. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Even without reading the synopsis, I probably will read that at some point. I didn't like Jazz by Toni Morrison, but I think, again, it was written like, I think she was trying to suggest that the way she wrote jazz is reflected by what she thinks about jazz in its form. And I think that affected the way it was written. So I want to read other Toni Morrison things. So, yeah, that's fine. I will probably read that. Oops, where am I? Okay, it's cool. I don't like using my phone on anything. Okay, there. This is interesting because this is by Tommy Orange, and I've already just listed this book as something to look for after Brian from Bookish mentioned it. So I am definitely going to look for there. So yeah, it's another one I'll definitely want to read. The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. Already read it. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite books. I really, really love this book. And I think there's lots to it. It's a very layered book. I think, there's an art, I think, to writing a good, solid, interesting, sophisticated and layered story without being too clever, to paraphrase Matt Wall. I watched the recent thing that he did as well, but he talked about that. And 10th of December by George Saunders. Right, I've heard of George Saunders, but I haven't heard of this one. An unsettling, insightful and hilarious stories through their manic energy, their focus on what is redeemable in human beings and their generosity of spirit, not only entertain and delight, they fulfill Chekhov's dictum that art should prepare us for tenderness. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm up for reading this. So yeah, this is a good list so far. So far, I'm thinking, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, that's one I could look at. Okay, so this is one that is an interesting one. So the next one is Ishiguro's The Remains of the Day. So I've heard a lot about it. I've seen the trailer, I think, of the film. I get the sense of what it is. I'm going to read Never Let Us Go. I think it's called Never Let Us Go. I'm going to read that first. I'm not massively attracted to the idea of reading The Remains of the Day. It seems to be a bit morose and possibly, I don't think I'll connect to it, but this is an assumption. I'm not going to gravitate towards that one. So if you think I should read it and I'm a lunatic for skipping it, let me know. But yeah, that's definitely one I'm not massively fussed about. So Things Fall Apart. I've heard a lot about this one by Chinua Achebe. Apologies if I said that wrong. Things Fall Apart is a classic narrative about Africa's cataclysmic encounter with Europe as it establishes a colonial presence on the continent. Told through the fictional experiences of Okonkwo, a wealthy and fearless warrior in the late 1800s. This looks good. I think I'm actually well up for reading that. So yeah, Things Fall Apart. I'm interested in reading that one. That's cool. Okay, A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. I've seen this before. Don't know a lot about it though. So full of Ozeki's signature humour, deeply engaged with the relationship between writer and reader, past and present, fact and fiction, quantum physics, history and myth. It's a brilliantly inventive, beguiling story of our shared humanity and the search for home. It doesn't tell you anything. That review doesn't tell me at all what it's about. I'll give it a go. So yeah, okay, that's not a no, that's a yes. Dear Life by Alice Munro. In story after story in this brilliant new collection, Alice Munro pinpoints the moment a person is forever altered by a chance encounter. Oh, I like that. An action not taken or a simple twist of fate. Yeah, I love that. A film that I really loved when I was a student, so this is many years ago, and I ended up writing an essay for it as an application to university, was a film by Krzysztof Kozlowski called Blind Chance, which ended up being ripped off by Sliding Doors. I thought it was a fantastic story, and a lot of that's about how your split decisions in little moments in your life can change your whole life. I think that's interesting. So if that's what that's about, that's cool. So one to say yes to. Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov. There we are. The Brothers Karamazov. So I hear about this a lot. Russian classics that are huge tomes. Doesn't make me really excited about them. Dostoevsky's last and greatest novel is, above all, the story of a murder told with hair-raising intellectual clarity and a feeling for the human condition, unsurpassed in world literature. See, that does sound cool. It's a masterpiece that chronicles the bitter love-hate struggle between an outsized father and his 3 different sons. I am tempted. So yeah, maybe, even though I do struggle a bit with, especially books that are this old, because the tone and the rhythm, especially the rhythm, and to some extent the language is so different to ours, but the rhythm is the big one. I don't tend to have a great experience with 18th century literature. So yeah, I like the synopsis. Where are we? I've lost it. My phone went funny. Right, here we go. What we got left? What we got next? The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. This novel follows a young girl's journey towards healing and a transforming power of love from the award-winning author of The Invention of Wings and The Book of Longings. This is a remarkable novel about divine female power, a story that women will share and pass on to their daughters for years to come. I don't think whoever wrote this thinks that I need to read it. Yeah, I could read it. The Secret Life of Bees. Tell me if you think I should read that. It doesn't kind of draw me in or draw me out. Which sounds, in that context, it sounds like the same thing. Doesn't draw me in or push me out. Okay, A Constellation of Vital Phenomena. I definitely don't know this one, by Anthony Mara. How did I not know this? I thought I'd know all these books. In a small rural village in Chechnya, 8-year-old Hava watches from the woods as Russian soldiers abduct her father in the middle of the night and they set fire to her home. When their lifelong neighbour finds Hava hiding in the forest with a strange blue suitcase, he makes a decision that will forever change their lives. a story of the transcendent power of love in wartime. Sorry. This sounds cool. Okay, so yeah, have you guys read A Constellation of Vital Phenomena? I didn't know about it, so that sounds really good. Okay, cool. See, it's good to look these things up. The next one is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Discovered a stunning novel about twin sisters, inseparable as children, who ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white, looking well beyond issues of race. I've heard about this one. The Vanishing Half considers the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's decisions, desires, and expectations, and explores some of the multiple reasons and realms in which people sometimes feel pulled to live as something other than their origins. It sounds really good. You definitely want to read that. I do want to read that. Unaccustomed Earth. Don't know this one. Again, by Jhumpa Lahiri. These 8 stories by beloved and best-selling author Jhumpa Lahiri take us from Cambridge and Seattle to India and Thailand as they explore the secrets of the heart of family life. Rich with the signature gifts that have established Lahiri as one of our most essential writers, Unaccustomed Earth exquisitely renders the most intricate workings of his heart and mind. That sounds cool. I'm up for that. Well, the next one is actually Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I've read that. I think it's brilliant. Definitely one of the best post-apocalyptic books, I think. I think it's really good. So Station 11, I'd recommend. I think it's brilliant. Sadie Smith's White Teeth. I've got this, actually. Set against London's racial and cultural tapestry, venturing across the former empire and into the past, as it barrels towards the future, White Teeth revels in the ecstatic hodgepodge of modern life, flirting with disaster, confounding expectations, and embracing the comedy of daily existence. It looks really good. Yeah, I bought it because I thought I'd like it. So yeah, that's definitely on my TBR. This is another one I've got but haven't read yet. Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad. So I know that's got, they kind of use the metaphoric idea of an underground railroad as a literal underground railroad, studying, sort of looking at, exploring racism and anti-racism. Sounds really good. So I'm definitely going to read that. That's all good. In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. In the Time of the Butterflies is Julia Alvarez's modern Latin classic about 4 sisters who fought to liberate the Dominican Republic from Rafael Trujillo's dictatorship. Through the art and magic of Alvarez's storytelling, the martyred butterflies live again in this novel of courage, love, and the human cost of political oppression. That sounds good. Definitely up for that. It's good. See, you look these things up and you think, you know, I think it's because quite often the novels you should read before you die are, 200 years old and just don't always have a good time with those. The Kitchen God's Wife by Amy Tan. Winnie and Helen have kept each other's worst secrets for more than 50 years. Now, because she believes she's dying, Helen wants to expose everything. And Winnie angrily determines that she must be the one to tell her daughter, Pearl, about the past, including the terrible truth even Helen doesn't know. Sounds really good, to be fair. Yeah, I'm up for that. Amy Tan, The Kitchen God's Wife. Okay, I can look at the library for all these things. The God of Small Things. I've got that. I've had that a while to read. But this is compared favourably to the works of Faulkner and Dickens. This modern classic in equal parts, powerful family saga, forbidden love story, and piercing political drama. Yeah, I've got that intention to read that one. So, that's the last one. So actually, those 22 books were pretty much, by and large, books that I was up for reading. So these lists are quite useful. They can be quite good. It was a bit of a fluke that those were the books came up because different lists come up with different books. And some of those I didn't know about. So yeah, I don't like necessarily the idea of doing a list of what you want to read before you die, because ultimately I don't even know if I'll get through the books I own at the moment that I haven't read before I die. So it can be a little bit of a pointless exercise. I was going to just write a list of books that I wanted to read before I died from just the ones I want to know, that I want to read that I know about. But I thought it might be interesting to see what's recommended by an expert. And actually, a lot of those sound really good that I would like to read. So let me know what you think about those books and the whole subject of where you are on the spectrum as far as fun reads to difficult reads that you're challenging yourself with, and overcoming and, reading for your the development of yourself, development of your mind, development of your understanding of the human condition. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Stay curious.
Paint me a picture